Hi everyone and Assalamualaikum. So today I would like to present the first lecture virtually for the BENC 3443 Multimedia Application and Technology by Ami. So this semester will be semester 1, session 2022 and 2023. Okay, let's jump to the contents. So the one that I am going to present for today is basically about myself, and then I will be explaining about what is the demand of engineering, EAC, and some sort of BEM. And later on, I will be explaining the courses that which available in engineering program according to BEM, which whereby the course is a must or a selection or optional or things like that. And then I'll be introducing a bit about multimedia application and technology. And okay, obviously we'll be explaining about the learning outcomes, whereby this learning outcome is basically hold on, the requirement for EAC, this organization. So whereby we will have LO, PO, and PO over here. Okay, so later on I will be talking about this. I hope you guys can understand the concept of LO, PO, and POs over here. So then discussion about the synopsis and references which are closely related to my lecture for this semester, and eventually I will be talking about the course, how we evaluate the students for the 14th week's time, and we will discuss about the methods of assessment, what we do for this semester. So basically there will be 2 lectures for this semester, right? Okay, and finally I will be closing my lecture session. Okay, so for the YouTube purposes, I will be skip about me and MZH. Maybe I will be doing this in the real class, in the physical class soon. Okay, all right. So for the sake of the virtual, I will be explaining first for the content number 2, what is engineering and EAC and BM. Okay, all right. So speaking of the engineering, or whenever we talk about how to say COVID-19 and so on, so basically we are familiar with the act, right? Akta in Malay that we said. So during the pandemic time, from 2000 and March 2000 and 2000, so basically we often heard about the Akta, which whereby has been gazetted by the government of Malaysia. So similarly for the engineering purposes, not for engineering, science and technology, food security, and so on and so forth. Basically, we have an act who which is protecting the terms of engineering here. So in the engineering field, basically we have Akta Pendaftaran Juruterus 1967, whereby the Akta called Akta 138 and peraturan-peraturan, and so on and so forth. Okay, so right, what is the Akta says in the 138? Basically, there will be 2 things. One thing is the registration of who is going to be implementing and apply any things that related to the engineering verb in their working places. Okay, and the other one is stating that those who gain the experience of 3 years time after registering the graduate engineers shall register as professional engineer and so on. So there will be 2 or 3 sub element in that act. So the detail would be in this act. So I'm not going to be telling you guys about this in details in this lecture session. Okay, reacting to this act, basically under the roof of this act, there will be Board of Engineering Malaysia, BEM they say. Okay, so in Malay they call it Lembaga Juruterus Malaysia. So whereby this lembaga is basically recognizing, giving the status of engineer, graduate engineer, professional engineer to all the registered person who attended the course of engineer with experience and so on under the board decision. Okay, right. So that would be the board decision maker. So under the roof of board themselves, they have EAC, what we call the Engineering Accreditation Council. So board of engineering appointed EAC in order to investigate and inspect the IHL, institution higher learning, through all over the peninsula and Borneo, especially in Malaysia, to satisfy all the criteria, 7 criteria stated in the Engineering Program Accreditation Standard 2020 for the recent one. Okay, so based on that particular criteria that we said, if one of those criteria not satisfied by one of IHL, institution higher learning, whereby the IHL wouldn't get the accreditation from BEM suggested by EAC as a panel, okay, who is coming to the IHL itself. So speaking of the accredited and not accredited by BEM, so because that would be a big deal for us who are dealing with the engineering workplace. Okay. So as example, saying that one student A and B student for X uni, right? So Y uni, so for example, okay. So this X uni have the accreditation, while the Y uni for B, person name B, doesn't have the accreditation. Okay, all right. So then these two person is taking this for the example, right? DPLI, Diploma Pengajaran Latihan, DPLI, the one that happened course who going to be a teacher in Malaysia. So I think that would be the course. Okay, happened that they both graduated from DPLI and then went to a school, let's say school Z, Sekolah Kebahasaan, and school A. Okay, so A and B went here hoping that they will get the same salary, right? So unfortunate, the A person with the accreditation from BEM basically gain, let's say the basic salary is 2,900, excluding the allowance and so on and so forth. But this B person went to school A only gaining like 2,650. Okay, so the basic salary of this two person is basically different because of this thing. Okay, so whereby this is considered as an engineer registered program, but this one is not registered engineer program based on the definition of BEM, those program not accredited by EAC and BM. So the salary scheme is basically turned down by 2 steps by far, as we know until this day. All right. So the things is happening in the engineering education provider, whereby FKEKK in our university is one of those. Okay, so we are hardly and thoroughly looking up to these issues, satisfying the 7 characters or criteria based on the EPAS, Engineering Program Accreditation Standard 2020, for having all our student and all our batches cohort students for bank. Here is bank, right? To gain and to graduate from our university successfully without any problem with the accreditation issues. Okay, right. I hope you guys clear about that. All right. So then we okay. Since we are referring the EAC standards, EAC based on Engineering Program Accreditation Standard 2020, basically from this standard we can see that we have a spec whereby this will be the most close specification for subject given in those particular program, in example, electronics is electrical. Okay, right? So here we have circuit signal, we have EMT, we have instrumentation, we have digital analog and everything, and we have energy and power system. And obviously there will be additional courses required by EAC and BEM for E&E, with listed by 6 category underneath of this list. Okay, so every single thing happened in the engineering standard 2020 was discussed details and thoroughly by us, and hoping that the AC will give for us the continuous 6 years, 4 years time of accreditation soon. Okay, so previously we got 6 years of accreditation for our bank, and for our bank R, basically we are working for the first time accreditation exercise in, I think, in first quarter next year. All right. Okay, speaking of which, I did mention about FKEKK just now, and then, okay, so now we are going deeper to our bank. Before going to the bank, basically we need to know what is the provider of education in this university. Obviously UTM. UTM is the first father of our system, and then underneath the UTM will be Faculty Kejuruteraan Electronics dan Kejuruteraan Komputer. We call it FKEK. So I would like to introduce our Dean, respected Dean, Associate Professor Dr. Masrul Rizal bin Mat Ibrahim, I think as a Dean, and help with the 3 Deputy Dean, Academic, the Student Development and Research, R&D, Research and Postgraduate Studies, okay, by Dr. Ridwan, Dr. Shah, and Dr. Ridwan Manap. And the one that I circle up with the red circle line over here is basically related to us now, bank. Okay, so the course that you are taking right now is BENG, who are led by Dr. Fakrul Razi and helped by the course coordinator, Dr. Siti. Okay, this 2% person in charge is basically working close to bank accreditation activities. Okay, but for your information, basically I'll working with under Dr. Zul Atfi, because I'm from computer engineering. Okay, right. So speaking of which, accreditation in concern, basically we have, as I mentioned earlier, PEO. We have PO on the top, we have PO in the middle, we have LO at the most bottom. Okay, alright. So PEO is basically gain, or the attributes that been assessed 3 to 5 years after graduation. So this one PO assessed upon graduation. So this one is every semester. Okay, so that would be level ataupun tingkat for those assessment in generating the how to say constructive alignment happen in our faculty. So whereby we can say that the LO level is in subject matter. This one is the program matter. So this one is the faculty matter, FKEKK. So the one that looking up to the PO is basically this level. The one that we're looking up to the PO is his. And the one that looking up to the LO is me as a lecturer for each particular subject. Okay, so all these 3 categories, PO, and LO, is interconnected to each other. So meaning, if we achieve the LO indicators or percentage that has been set by the HOD, so means that we will achieve PO at the same time, which happen to be analyzed in the different style and domain. Okay, and followed by PEO and so on and so forth. Okay, so PO is actually attribute for 3 to 5 years after upon graduation to this one. So I think there will be another discussion for that. So PO is upon the graduation day. So this will be the important thing. So we have 12 attributes over here. So we have engineering knowledge, we have problem analysis, and so on until the management and finance. So speaking of which, all this PO link to the PO, and this all the PO link with the LO. So later on I will be discussing on LO for our subject soon. Alright. So before that, before explaining about the PO, definitely in the specific viewpoint, I will uh, giving a brief introduction about what is happening for multimedia application and technology, our subject. So so far, for this semester, there will be two academic staff who are giving lecture for all the FKE KK students in semester 1 by me and MZH and Associate Prof. Dr. Nurul Fajar Abdul Mana, whereby he will be taking the section number 5, 1 Bank 1 and section 5 and I think remaining of third year students. So for this, for me, I will be taking 1 Bank 1, section 2 and 3 Bank 2, which happening right now for you guys class, okay? Speaking of which, oh, this is for the other class. Sorry for this. So basically, this one is for Monday, right? Your class, and this one is Friday. Sorry for that. Monday is basically 2 to 4. 2 to 4, yes, right? This one is 8 to 10. Apologize for this. Alright. So the location for this one is 17. Sorry for that. And the other one is BK1, guys. Sorry. Alright. But I heard that this class was shift to 16 to 18. Maybe we need to be careful for next week. Alright. Okay. So commonly the lecture was conducted in two methods, whereby we will have the lecture session for 3 hours per week and helped by 5 times tutorial session for how to say, to enhance and to make things understanding of the student become deeper and well prepared for the all the assessment given by us soon. All right. So not to mention that all the lecture session in this semester will be offline physically, but whereby we will try we will have some session via online if some cases or any event occurred in our side and the student sides, okay, or we have other urgency as PKP4 or something, okay, it depends on the Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan. Okay, just now we did discuss about PO, and LO, right? So this time around, this is LO. LO is given from HOD to me as a lecturer for the multimedia. So the one that given to me is 3 PO from the head of department I. Basically, he is actually looking up to PO, right? Remember? So the one that been given by him to me is 1, 3, 5. Okay? So the moment that the PO given to me as that, so we as a lecturer requires to assess this 1, 3, and 5 for our learning outcomes. So meaning LO1 is for this, LO2 is for this, and while LO3 is for this. Sorry, I'm looking, currently I'm looking up to the second display on my left hand side, okay, right. So these are the targets for the at the end of the semester. We have apply of the theoretical multimedia data representation and so on. So basically we are try to focus on this. And the second one is the designing the multimedia application, whereby this will be happening through the assessment of the second half of the lecture session. Construct multimedia application, whereby it will happen in the assignment soon. Okay. All right. By using the latest multimedia, for sure. Okay. So a bit about the synopsis of or reference for this particular subject. Here I did put it all the texts in the dedicated colors to give more understanding about the contents of the paragraph, right? Okay, so this course prepare the student with the basic concept of multimedia. So remember, basic concept of multimedia. So what is multimedia? We will discuss about that in chapter 1 and 2. Okay, so in the multimedia as concerned, basically we will talk about 5 elements. Obviously text, image, audio, video, and animation. Okay, so those 5 elements will be thoroughly or detailed have a detailed discussion in chapter 1 until chapter 6. For that, we will assess all these elements in this part in the final examination soon. So it will be covering introduction. Our class will be data, how the data, multimedia data has been processed, compressed, and how about the graphic and image representation, whereby if you take a look at my image right now on the top of the slide, it's basically MPEG, could be an AVI and something. So because I'm moving, so moving it means that the frame of image has been moved down from frame to frame in 1 second. So whereby we know about 60 frames per second and 30 frames per second in our camera setting, right? So that would be the idea. So then we talk about the audio technology, video technology, and multimedia system at the end of the subject. Throughout the courses, students will develop the essential skill producing a professional multimedia application. Hopefully, we will introduce several apps. It could be Scratch, and it could be the how to design the whole scenario of having a full apps with the several platform and elements in this 14 weeks in lecture session. All right. Okay, about the references, we got 5 suggested books, and it's not PDF. Okay, I guess everything listed down here is books. Okay, hopefully you can check out the books. I think some of them is available publicly by googling up to the searching engine, but it could be restricted for the copyright sake. Maybe it wouldn't be publicly available, so whereby we need to find a way to purchase them via Amazon, Shopee, or Lazada bookstore. Okay, all right. So how we evaluate the students throughout the 14 weeks time? Okay, forgive me. This could be amended. So for this time around, after the endemic, so there is no more online term in all the assessment. Okay, so we estimating to have the midterm as 20%, assignment 20%. Okay, forgive me for the typo. Final exam as 60%. Okay, so meaning for this time around, the final exam have the huge portion of marks 60, right? Okay, 2/3 from a 3 out of 5 from the final exam, while the 2/5 is coming from a midterm and group assessment. So be careful about this marks portion. Okay, all right. So speaking about the CPS and CEA is complex problem solving. This is suggested by the EAC. So whereby the level of what they call it HOTS, high order thinking skill, or in Malay we call it KEBAT, kemahiran berfikir aras tinggi. We requires to set the whole assessment as 40% in total. That's the reason why we put it the midterm 10% in figure in numerical, while the assessment 10, and obviously the majority from them taken from the final exam assessment. Okay, right. This is the one that how we calculate the SLT. Okay, again, sorry for that. Right. So everything is face to face, no more online, I guess. Okay. So at the end of the day, everything will be documentized. Even in how the question has been organized and made by each lecturer. So meaning question 1 is 10% from CLO. Remember LO2, Just now, LO3 is assignment, right? So that's the things related to the practical one. All right, here. Then we have 40-40-20, so whereby the majority of the assessment happen in this multimedia subject is focusing on the LO1, LOD1, and LOD6, CLO1 and 2. Okay, so because of we have over here 80% majority, but then 20% for assignment. Okay, SLT is stand for student learning time. So basically, we need also to documentize and we need to ensure that the lecturers is not giving how we say this, not giving overload time for the student to follow our lecture process as the activities from the starting week 1 until week 14. All right. Okay, I think that's all for the introduction of the week 1 and part 1. Hopefully you guys can um see and rewatch this video for gaining the information of the general ideas of multimedia application and technology, Ben C3443. So I hope you guys be in good health, and thank you for watching again. Okay, assalamualaikum and bye.